Hi there guys, it's Omega, and I am back to do another project from my Die Cutting Essentials, my Die Cutting Essentials magazine. And if you'll notice this card on the front, I'm going to show it to you inside the magazine. This one here, I'm going to do that card. And I'm going to try to follow it pretty much the way they have it there, except I'm not using red as my card base. I'm going to use another color. Not sure yet what I'm going to use, but not red for sure. Also, there's a couple of ways that you can do this particular card. I've embossed a couple of the embossing folder. This is the embossing folder here. So I've went ahead and embossed a couple of them. So this application would actually be dragging the ink over the embossed card just using an ink pad. Now I can also lay this flat and use my brayer. And what I'm going to do is show you both ways so you can see the difference in, you know, the result from doing it two different ways. I actually did, let me show you this, did two already. This one was using the brayer, which it came out, I think, a little more precision. This one was using just dragging the ink pad over the, no, hold on. No, yeah, this one was dragging the ink pad over. This one was using the brayer. Sorry, I have to remember which was which. But you'll see a difference because doing it this way, dragging the ink over it, you get a lot more ink even in the background. So I'm going to show both ways here, and you can kind of see what's happened. I did pull out my trusty Big Shot. I'm going to tell you guys, anyone who's considering buying a die cutting and embossing machine, the Big Shot is just the bomb diggity. It is going to give you more versatility in the type of dies and things that you use. It gives more versatility than any of the other cutters I have, and I do have several. I have this Spellbinder. I do have the old Spellbinder caliber. I have the Spellbinder Platinum 6, which is a good die cutting machine, and I do have the Cuttlebug, but the Big Shot gives me so much more versatility. I'm telling you, if you're considering a machine to purchase, go ahead and get this one because it's worth it. And if you can find this on, I mean, they're on sale on many of the crafting sites. But anyway, I'm not going to go on and on because I'm not being endorsed or anything by Big Shot, but this is my favorite die cutting machine. So I'm going to show you real quick what I'm doing here. I'm going to take the first one using the brayer. And when you're using a brayer, you just roll forward and kind of over and over again so you get an even coverage on the roller. Okay? And so I'm on a flat surface here, and I'm just going to run the brayer over the card, getting along the bottom. And if you see what I mean, I got a pretty good coverage on, there's a couple of leaves. Now you're not going to get perfect coverage on doing it either way, but this gives you a much cleaner impression when you're done. Now I am going to cut the center out of this card in order to use this little piece, which is a cutout from the paper from this magazine. It had the papers with it, which I showed in my other videos when I was telling about the magazine. So this was one of the cutouts, and that's going to be in the background. So I'm going to be cutting out the center of that, and we'll do that here on camera. Now I'm going to show you the other way to get ink on the cardstock, and that's actually just go along. And actually, this way, I'm doing it now, just patting it on like this. It works out much better. But what I did the first time was I kind of dragged it over the image. And you'll see it does cover the image quite well, but you do get a lot more ink on the background there. So I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to clean up my mess here so I don't have ink everywhere. Now, what I am going to do now is go ahead and cut the center out of these. What I think I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and use this one. And
we can afford to go. My little saving.
Okay guys, I'm going to fussy cut this center out. And I do see a little bit of leaf here that I want to try to get colored. Yeah, got it. There was one that was like totally white. So I'm going to fussy cut the center of this out. And let's see what we get. I'm going to try to cut these out and leave them attached so that they're still hanging there. Let's see how well I can do this. I'm not the best at fussy cutting, and I know that you really should use this hand moving the material around. That makes it a little better. And let's see here. Let's get this big piece out of the way. Cut around this leaf. And I'm going to try to leave that little hanging piece attached. I'm trying not to bend it too much. And when you're fussy cutting, it's kind of good to get all the big pieces out of the way. Okay, get that. Sorry, I hope I'm on frame. I'm really concentrating here. Really concentrating. Okay. And go around this little leaf. Not doing a very good job of keeping it protected. Okay, let's see what I can do here. I hope this is worth it. Yeah, because I'm trying to not bend that little piece. Okay, I got it. Alrighty, so we got that cut out, and then what I'm going to do is trim up this side and this side. I'm going to take my small paper cutter and just get this side trimmed. Alrighty, get this side trimmed away. So we have our cutout, and I think I'm going to use this piece here. And what I am going to do is, if you remember the lattice piece, I am going to cut the lattice piece out to use it on this card, and I'm going to use the vine piece. So let me get these out real quick. So on this, let's see here. I'm going to cut, I have some little scrap pieces here. This is the little vine, and I'm going to cut out a few of these. Now this is, you know, really tedious. It's kind of tedious, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because of how I want the card to look when I'm done. So I am putting this like close to the edge there because I think I'm going to get a better cut if I do it there. And it doesn't matter really if I get the whole piece cut because I think I can tuck it and, you know, kind of use these in such a way that you don't have to worry about making sure you get every little bit of that. Now again, here's this vine piece is gonna be a little tedious to get out, but if I can just, there we go. There's one vine piece. This is a little bit tedious, guys, and I'm not going to show it on camera. So I'm going to cut out a few more of these and I'll be back. So what I'm doing now is cutting these little pieces out. These are little flowers and butterflies. And what I decided to do was layer it. So I'm cutting, at least cutting 2 at a time. I'm using purple and lilac, or kind of purple and really, really light purple. Cutting 2 layers at a time with these little teeny dies. I think that's the best way to go. So that's what I'm doing now. And you'll see that it really cuts them well. And I'm just tossing them down here for now. I'm going to cut another strip. And again, I'm just cutting double layers here. Not sure how many I'm going to cut. I'm just going to do enough to at least get going on this. Okay, guys, I got all these itty bitty pieces cut out. And you know what? It was tedious, but you know, when I'm creating, or even, I mean, in this case, I'm not like creating something from scratch, but I'm, you know, kind of want to duplicate what I've seen here on in the magazine. So the whole process sometimes, you know, when you're being in the creative mode, is therapeutic. So that's kind of how I looked at the cutting out of all of these little pieces. I just cut until I felt like I had enough. I've got butterflies, I got flowers, and some of these look like little stars. But you know what? It's therapeutic and the process is done. That part of the process is done. So now I'm going to move on. I do have all of my pieces. Now in the picture, there was some grass along the bottom. And actually what they literally did was cut it. They fussy cut that grass. I am not that patient. Now this was tedious enough, but trying to cut that grass would drive me nuts. So what I did was cut some little grass pieces for my cricket. And you know, it's just good enough to do. So that's how I'm going to work that. So now I've got all my pieces here. This is going to be my little background piece underneath here. And I'm going to layer this all on a really, really light green with this, of course, in there. And then I'll be putting it all together. So let me do that. What I'm going to do is cut 5 1/4 inches of this light green cardstock, and then I'm going to do 5 3/4 of this, and then my actual card is going to be a 6 by 6 square card. So let's start putting this card together. What I am going to do is put this down like so, and what I need to do is get this kind of where I have a border around the edge. The lattice piece is going to go underneath here, and I want it all to have a little bit of a border around the edge. Okay, that's how it's going to go. Let me get a little bit closer in now to the card so you can see what I'm doing here. Let me pull out this way a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to get this layered on. So what I'm going to do first is attach this background piece to this piece so that I have that down. And what I'm going to do is get my glue on the back. And then get this layered in there. Alrighty, so that is glued on there. And then I'm going to put that all on this. I need to wipe up my glue. Okay, so now what I want to do is put this on here, leaving a bit of a border behind it. Actually, I'm going to turn it this way. Now, on my lattice piece, this is actually longer than the die cut piece. And the way I did it was I just cut 2 and then I cut it and glued them together. There's another way to do that, but you know what? I've been spending quite enough time on this card. So I decided just to do it quick and dirty that way. What I'm going to do first is get the lattice piece down, and then I'm going to get this down. So I'm just running my glue along the edge here. And I'm only going to worry about the edge because I'm going to do quite a bit of gluing once everything is in place. Okay. I've got some glue oozing out that I want to make sure I get off of my border here. I'll get this cleaned up a bit. Okay. When I go to lay my other pieces down, some of that's going to be on top of there, so I'm not worried too much. I just want the border, the edge, to be clean. And now I'm going to glue this down. It's going to overlap the lattice piece just a little bit. So I'm going to glue that down. Okay. Okay. Let me put a little glue on these little dangling pieces here. Just so they stay down. Okay, so far this is what we've got. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to put the grass down along the bottom. I've got it overlapping a little bit here. And then I'm going to layer another piece on top of it. So I'm going to lay the grass down. Along that edge, the bottom edge. Then another piece. This one I'm going to lay down along the other side. You know, the thing about a card like this, it is the uniqueness that makes the card special. And sometimes the more unique your project is, the more time consuming or tedious it is. So that's where this one is like, it's kind of tedious, but it's going to be a unique card. Then I'm going to just put some more grass down over that, just to kind of give it a little more depth, because we're going to lay flowers and butterflies on here and all of that good stuff. So there we go. Okay, there is my bottom, and that's all I'm going to do with that. So now I'm going to lay these vines on, and in the illustration it shows that there's like just several vines hanging. Got one going up from the bottom, one in the trellis here. And then I'm going to lay a couple across the top, like so. Put another one there and there. Then I'm going to lay some across the top. So let me get these down. I think I'm going to start with this one that's smaller. Put that one tucked in under the grass a little bit. Then I'm going to layer one on the trellis and one next to it. Put that one out there. Then another one. I should be using my tweezers. Excuse me one moment, guys. Get my tweezers. Make it a little easier to handle this. Trying to use my fat fingers and I'm getting glue on my fingers and glue everywhere else. I'm going to put one along here like so. Then I'll get two down here. Again, get my tweezers. holding this. Man, I'm all thumbs, feels like right now. Alrighty. Get that one on like right there. I think I'm going to now lay one across the top here and then see where I'll go from there. So this one's going to go across the top. There we go. There. I'm gonna go, let's see, I think I'm gonna tear this one and have it go like that. That one I have it going down a little bit, and get this one on there. And I kind of feel like that might be enough, except I want to do maybe just one more along there, maybe. Let's see what we get. Okay, that's it. I'm going to leave a little bit of space there because I still have my flowers and butterflies. So far, I might have it a little crowded, but that's it for the vines. Now, I've got all these little pieces, and believe it or not, I'm going to put on as many of these as I can. Okay, I got all my flowers and butterflies on here, and I have the butterflies where I can kind of lift those wings up to make it a little more dimensional. But here's my card so far, and to be honest, I don't like it as much as I thought I would, and I'll tell you the reason. I think I made a bad choice of colors. The purple does not pop on this card. It kind of blends in. The purple doesn't pop as much as red would have. So using red was a good call on the sample card, or on the magazine, the card in the magazine. But I'm going to go ahead and finish it. So this is on a green, light green backing, but I'm actually going to put it on white next. But I'm going to pop it up on the white, and then the white is actually going to go on my cardstock like this. And since this is a 6-inch card, my heavy cardstock is 8.5 by 11, so I had to make it a 6-inch card. But what I did was I cut the face of it 6 inches, then I cut the back piece 6.5 inches, scored it, and then I have something to attach this piece to. So that's what I'm going to do here. In fact, I might even put it inside like this, because this purple piece is going to be 6 inches and it's going to cover that whole thing. And then that goes on. So let me do that. Let me put my, put this on so that my card base here is all done. So I'm just gonna butt this up to my card In fact, let me do this, get it nice and straight and even. Then I'm going to put that across like that. So now I have a 6x6 card made out of 8.5 by 11 paper. So I can either do it like that, but I think if I cover that with this purple cardstock, it's not going to show, and that way it's going to be totally hidden. So let me do that next. I am going to put the purple cardstock over top of, and this is a 6x6 piece. It's going to totally cover the front of my card. So that's how I'm matting the front. Let me make sure I get this right, because it's got to cover it exactly. This is hard. Harder than I thought. I just want to get this on exactly. There we go. So that is covering the front of my card. I'm going to just go ahead and burnish this on to make sure it's on good and tight. Okay, so this is the front of my card then, and then that folded piece, that edge, half-inch edge, doesn't even show. That's the front. Then this is going to go on my card like so. So let me put my tape runner on this. Go ahead and get this laid down. And what I'm going to do is pop up I'm going to make sure this is straight also. Okay, that'll do it. I think it's off just a little bit, and then I've got a little bit of an edge there, but I am not worried about that part. That's just the top part of the card. So there we are, and then I'm going to pop this up. It's going to sit up a little bit. So let me get my I actually have some Anna Griffin pop-up that's going to give me a little more deepness or depth to the pop-up. Let me grab that and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my foam tape on here, and this is actually kind of thick. It's about, looks to be about an 1/8 inch thick, and that's going to really give it dimension on this card. So it will pop up a little bit like so. So I'm going to actually put a little bit of my art glitter glue on the back of this just to make sure it holds. Got to take the lid off. Just a little bit. I just want to make sure it's secure. Okay, let me make sure I have my card in the right direction. And I'm going to stand up just to make sure I get it centered. And that's the thing about the glue too, it allows you to get it in place better before you press it down. Okay, think I'm good. So now I'm going to press. I actually have them running across the back instead of up and down. And that is how the card looks. I think it turned out pretty. Next time I would use a more vibrant color than purple, because the purple seems to be blending in a bit too much. Now this is going to be a birthday card, so I do need to put my sentiment on, and let me do that and then I'll be back. And I think I'm going to actually add some rhinestones, so I'll be right back. So I'm going to put that in there, get this stamped. This is my Perfect Plum Stampin' Up! Ink. And I get that stamped. I think it takes a couple times to get it nice and crisp. One more time. Okay. So I got a nice crisp impression there. Now when I go to stamp it this time, I'm going to be more careful. Let's get my stamp cleaned off. And I am going to punch that with my Stampin' Up! Punch. Get it centered in the punch. And last time I kind of let it go before I punched it, and it messed up. Get it centered in there. That's just about center. And there we go. Much better this time. Okay. So here's the trick I want to show you. That when you want to have a border around something, like on this one, I would like to have something around that, because on my card, I don't want it just to be white sitting there. Okay. Actually, I really feel like I want to do something else with this, but I think I'm going to let that go, because what I'm going to do here, I punched that white one time after stamping it, and then what you'll notice here is I punched twice using the purple paper. I did 2 punches using this background paper here. And then I cut it in half that way, up and down, and I cut it in half across. And what I'm going to do is glue this on so that I will have a little border around on each side here. And also what you do need to do, let me get my little scissors out. The little points, since you don't need them. So on that one, you just cut those off. And then on this one, you're going to cut the top ones off. And then what I'm going to do is now put these behind my stamp. You may have seen this before. It is a really neat trick. I'm going to use my glue, this glue, just to make sure I can get it backed and have room to kind of move it around if need be. So that is the top piece. Okay, then I'm going to put it along the bottom. Just slide it underneath. And along the bottom have another little border. I'm sorry, I'm probably off frame here. Sorry about that. But what you'll see here is, I'm going to pick it up so you can see. you have the top and bottom bordered, and you could leave it like that, or you could continue to do that, and then on the sides here I can put another little border. Sorry, I want to get that just right. And what you'll see is that all the way around. So I'm going to cut this back a little bit more. Actually cut that down just a little bit. You don't need that extra. And so what I'm going to do now is put this, and actually, let me cut these humps off. That'll make it a little cleaner. Alrighty. So now you can put that behind there. And that way you do have your white punch outlined just so. And then this one goes on the other side. And that is how it looks once you're all done, and you have a nice little border around the edge. So that's a little trick, and I think I learned that, I don't know, probably watching someone else do it on YouTube, but I thought I'd share it with you. But then we can put it on our card. And I am going to go ahead and pop this up using some tape that's not quite as high as the other backing, the tape that I used before. I'm going to pop that up a little bit. And I am going to put a little bit of rhinestone embellishment in some of the flowers. I don't think I'm going to do it in all of them, but just enough to add a little sparkle to the card. I'm going to get this on first. So I'm going to put happy birthday right there, popped up just a little bit. And there's the sentiment. Now I am going to put some rhinestones on. Here are the rhinestones. They're itty bitties, and I'm going to just kind of sprinkle a few of them on the flowers, just to give it a little bit of a glitz, just kind of pick it up a little bit. Let's see how far we'll go with this. But this is a special card. You know, it's some people that you really want to give something special to. This is the kind of card that you give to someone that's really special, dear to your heart, you know, because there was some time and effort in making this card. I just want to pick up these wings a little bit. I left the wings unattached. There's one behind there. And I just want to, I think that helps them to show up better on the card. All right. Guys, this card is really, really pretty. I think it's probably prettier in person than it is on camera, but I hope you can see how really cute this card turned out. This rhinestone don't want to cooperate. Okay, I think I got one more I want to do and call it done. Oh my gosh, guys, I love this. I love this card. Again, this card will be for someone very special. So, guys, look at this card. And I think I know who I'm going to send it to. It is so pretty. So, 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 so pretty. There is my sentiment and the rhinestones. I hope you can see them. I'm not sure if it shows up very well, but I love how this card came out with that background there, and it's popped up. Just beautiful. I love how this card turned out. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, this was a project from the, hold on one second, let me pull it out. It's buried now under all my junk. So this is the, oops, sorry, got it upside down. This is a card that it was, that I was imitating. And I don't know if mine is really quite as pretty as this one, but I do like how this one came out. I used purple instead of the red, and I just love it. The butterflies, I put 2 rhinestones on. The flowers, I put 1. But I hope that shows up on camera because it is really gorgeous. So guys, I just want to thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will be back soon with more. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.